Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier.
Tests?
Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree.
Oh yeah, that! I totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. Supposedly. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood or...
Due to time constraints, a full test was possible.
Otherwise it would spoil too much.
However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on the dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial.
So it wasn't Misty's blood on that dagger. Oh, so now she's Misty and not Elise. Then whose was it?
I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims.
I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly. That is entirely up to you.
Very well. Please bring in the last witness.
Witness, please tell us your name and profession.
Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices.
Maya.
According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Quran channeling technique.
I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it.
Well, yes, that's a good idea, actually. You know what? Do it like Prince Judah from Anatolia's story. If you abdicate from becoming master / king, empire, king of the empire, Morgan would still win, Pearl would become the master, everything would be fine. Oh Maya, the pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable.
Very well. Now then, Miss Fey, when the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Stoneham's murder. Is this correct?
I didn't.
Straighten up this moment, young lady.
Huh?
Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later.
But
Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? Actually, considering it was said that spirit mediums do not see what's going on since they're gone while channeling, yeah, she didn't see anything. She shouldn't have seen anything. You've seen the witnesses come out and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen?
Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness.
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff.
Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was.
Maya, think hard.
Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't.
Can't say it wasn't an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone.
Don't start with the chauvinistic thing again.
It seems that it would be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination.
Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. I don't know, would you be after you've been technically unconscious for 2, almost 3 days? Who else was on the inner temple side that night?
Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well.
On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said?
Well, let me think.
She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired.
No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training.
Who did it? Who hit you?
Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind.
You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was?
Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember.
Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? I'm gonna continue pressing. Come on, Maya, this isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person?
Well, let me think. It was, Oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it.
It was dark?
It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training.
Come to think of it, there was earlier testimony to that effect as well. So it was dark in the garden on the night of the crime.
Which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not.
Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely
the spirit that was channeled by Elise Tonin, Dahlia Hawthorne. Why are we debating if that might have been somebody else? We're trying to find out who killed Elise, or Misty, not who attacked her. And by her I mean Maya. What happened afterwards?
My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think.
You think?
After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only 2 things rolling around in my mind at the time.
Well now, this is beginning to get interesting.
So, what were the 2 things rolling around your mind?
My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd, considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was.
I actually think that's a pretty logical thing to do. Reminding herself of that. Not the 1 + 1 = 2 part, but reminding her of a name.
That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So, what did you do then?
You think you screamed, but you're not sure?
Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, adult, and a child? I had no idea. I was scared of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes.
I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope.
Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details? Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff?
What? What do you mean by your last hope?
No, not... That's what you said. You said my last hope.
What? I said what?
Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me!"
Yeah.
But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope.
Oh, well, you know, that's like... What do you call it when that happens?
Maya's not doing so well up there.
Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at.
What did you just say?
Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help.
What is it now?
I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out.
Huh?
Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person?
I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done?
It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say.
A ton of pressure, huh?
You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber.
Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
A man? Who was this man?
Well, you see, I couldn't see.
You couldn't see? She's used this excuse twice now.
Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright.
Lantern light, did you say?
There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Hey, you know what they say? Under the lantern, darkness reigns.
Never heard that before.
So I could see the person who was further away, but not my attacker who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time.
So there was a man standing behind your attacker?
Yeah.
That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elistonim, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother.
The killer?
Yeah, please allow me to tell you that your mother just died. You know who killed your mother, don't you?
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. You know, if she's so confused and in shock, shouldn't her testimony not count considering she's not of sound mind and body?
Huh? What do you mean? What problem?
Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission.
What?
It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night.
No.
Mr. Godot, explain this.
The pureness of milk to the perfect, clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of café au lait.
Cafe au lait? Is that even legal?
Mr. Tride's words are the milk, and you are the spoon. Your Honor.
I'm a spoon? I'm no Spoody Bard, I'll have you know.
Hooray, a Final Fantasy IV reference. You must have noticed it too, Tride. This witness' mental state is highly unstable right now. So I'll ask again, why are we forcing her to testify today? This is only the second day of the trial, so we still have 1 day left for the limit. We could end the trial for today and try tomorrow when she has rested, eaten, drunk, gotten a bit calmed down and all. But no. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it.
What?
If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony.
Nick.
May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of the attacker in front of her.
What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch-dark conditions?
Objection!
Tried. Do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. I'm staring at his visor in case you can't tell. Yes! There are some things I can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is.
Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please. I'm begging you.
You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It's you talk the talk, not talk the game. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't. Please, stop.
Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth.
Alright, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you saw, you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness?
Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in the courtroom be turned off.
That, but it can't be. Huh.
It's really not that difficult to tell that they glow in the dark. That was a nice bit of deduction, tried. Well, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder.
Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it?
Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person.
What do you mean by that?
If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question.
You're wrong. I never saw that.
Maya!
I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason.
What?
Witness, Mr. Wright, what?
Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
Chattering?
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Screw your rules! I'm gonna kill you!
Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize until after I woke up, but... When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all of the snow around the stove lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor,
No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. And yet nobody thinks of asking for a recess. It's only natural that you be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the criminal was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination.
So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right?
yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed.
So then the person that carried you into the inner temple?
It could only have been the killer.
That's what I think too.
So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
I don't know.
It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. The torches were lit?
Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? Good reason why even bother saying that.
The killer probably lit them since I can't talk anymore. The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. He was the opposite of Dahlia. Dahlia wanted to kill Maya and frame someone. The actual killer wanted to protect Maya and keep blame from going on to her. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya.
Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they were all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away?
Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victims' blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up getting splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount.
That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood.
It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help explain them. So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes. But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. Moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something.
You did?
Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence from me, for my sake.
What? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it.
No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. The body of Elise Donim was carried all the way to Asakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that still seems somewhat odd.
Oh, and what would that be?
You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya.
If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't he wipe the writing off the lantern?
You're right. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. I've said it before, the bloody writing of somebody's name supposedly indicating the killer is a terrible piece of evidence, and it's one of the reasons why somebody said that it happens in Danganronpa, and it's one reason why I do not think I am going to play that game. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it.
Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern?
Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that crime occurred there. If that's the case, then they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no way any normal person would.
What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
And who would that be? Who is the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing?
How many times do I have to present him until I can finally say, "It was you"? Seriously, I don't remember. This is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot?
This lantern was admitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented.
This lantern? There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before. During the poisoning case at Très Bien. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on it.
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron.
That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can see them? 'Cause you're a chauvinistic asshole whose only
redeeming feature apparently for most people is his tragic hero backstory.
And I hate you for that backstory.
You're not even that much of a tragic hero. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you couldn't see the red writing on the lantern?
Hey Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. Hilarious?
I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer.
We already had a prosecutor who killed, so really, why are you so shocked?
But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth.
Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Donin, also known as Miss Misty Fey.
It's hard to believe this may be true. However, once again Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into the murderer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there.
I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red.
This is rich. Do go on, try it.
The answer's right there at the crime scene.
In the snow.
In the snow? How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow?
Your Honor, you said it yourself. If they wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? 'Cause just a splotch of dirt showing where snow was obviously moved would be more conspicuous than a rectangle?
Yes, why didn't they just take that... Oh, could it be?
Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so, he had to remove all of the snow. If he wanted to remove all of it, he would have removed everything. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. They would have been able to see just fine.
It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Wait, just wait a minute.
Maya.
What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the Inner Temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up.
Objection!
Maya. You can't testify to something like that.
Why? What do you mean? I may not look it.
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist.
She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dolly Hawthorne.
Aren't you the one who also said a while ago that she actually would have seen everything, including all the witnesses that dropped by?
Oh, that's right.
But please, Your Honor, let me add this to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me.
Maya. Oh, this is so terrible. Do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Yes, we should also not listen to her since she's probably gonna lie, but whatever. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling and my spirit left me, as it were. But that little girl was there at the inner temple, too. Of course, she doesn't know that, actually. Pearlie was also stuck in the inner temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up.
Who is this Pearlie?
That's my little cousin, Pearl Fay.
So when did you hear about this?
Just a while ago, when I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be.
Real smart, Maya. You always know the best thing to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness.
Mr. Godot?
Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections.
This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright?
Let's get this cross-examination started. So, where did you think Pearl slept that night?
In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training.
But even so, why did you go to the inner temple in the first place?
It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya.
She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense.
Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia was already there, possessing the body of Elise. She searched the entire inner temple side end to end.
Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times.
The inner temple side has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room.
And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it.
There was a storage shack too? Yeah, how come I didn't see any of those places? Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully?
Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate.
So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack.
Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge?
What do you mean?
I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait for the bridge.
Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl, all alone like that.
Yes, I think this is the time where I do feel for her. I think she is the only female character I really care about in the Ace Attorney games I've played. Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the Sacred Cavern. Dahlia, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? Yes, please tell them how I totally helped her. So it was your first time on the inner temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor.
Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass.
So he had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh?
You want to say something, Trite?
In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is.
He cheered her up?
That's what Brittany said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict.
Cut it out. You're making me blush.
This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one.
It really took him this long to get on your nerves? The truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the inner temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-toothed combs. So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way, Godot style.
I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, Judd style.
Maybe I should ask some questions, Phoenix style. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern.
Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles!
The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Western tastes? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy?
So from there you headed for the prep room?
Wait a second. What did Godot just say? I think I just found his proverb a weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Donin.
Mr. Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place.
Why do you say that?
Because you just made a fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall.
Hanging scroll?
But Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother.
Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this.
What's that wonderfully delicious smell?
The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy.
Gravy? But why gravy, Nick?
Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye.
Wait a minute, Nick.
Yes?
Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look, at the top. There's a crest there.
Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct?
Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark...
Then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Faye on there.
True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath, like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Oh.
Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you just one little thing, Troy? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed.
That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene.
Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan.
Huh?
What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of that plan?
This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed.
Unsealed?
Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple. And you're saying this crafty killer is me?
You bet I am.
But you just said that the instructions were hidden.
That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden.
If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out.
Yes, and when was that?
During a visit.
A visit?
Morgan Fay told her daughter, Pearl, about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden.
Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center?
Yes, it could be arranged if he was someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot.
Mr. Godot, you're under fire again.
This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you. You were the only one that could have acquired the information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark. And yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the dark instead of coffee.
I don't drink coffee. I just drink a carbonated soda that gives me caffeine.
Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the Inner Temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness. That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress. Well, you could have fooled me, telling me that I'm supposed to protect women. Sexist dick.
The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for a lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life. His behavior is still a little too unnatural.
However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs.
I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick?
Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? Okay, Trite, I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you.
What's this?
There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey inextricably. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney.
Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney?
With your honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago.
Obi-Wan. I haven't been called that in a long time.
How long?
A very long time. Diego Armando. That name rings a bell.
It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court. The tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense lawyer at the office where Mia worked.
It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself.
Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith into her clients. That pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then, one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria.
Oh, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned.
Even I didn't see it coming. So wait a second! You were investigating someone who you knew had killed a person, Valerie, and driven another person to suicide, Terry, with poison? At least Terry, with poison. Who wanted to meet with you. You went into a place where you drink, you eat, where things are very easy to poison. And you didn't expect her to do anything? I take it back. Phoenix is a moron for still taking cold medicine somebody tried to poison him with, but you're worse. You met with somebody who you know had access to poison, who was wearing the necklace that Terry Falls drank the poison from around her neck on that day. You had your coffee accessible to her, where she put poison in and you drank it. You goddamn deserve to get poisoned! You fucking moron! Seriously, how stupid can you get doing that? The very least you could have done is maybe bring a thermos can of coffee and keep it between your legs and closed so that you can't do anything. What the hell? Maybe Dementia Rose is right. Maybe she was all, hey, look over there, and you looked and she put poison in your coffee and you still drank it, you moron. God! Fucking moron! I have even less sympathy for you now, and I didn't have any sympathy for you beforehand either. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee.
Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press.
But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down, and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused.
That's terrible.
Apparently it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poisoned brew. Then one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. I wonder if he had woken up early if somebody had done that.
5 years? You were asleep for 5 years?
And the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death.
The woman you loathed?
The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up.
That's so sad.
For someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, Trite.
Huh? Me?
If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her.
I'll say it again, more calmly. Phoenix had no idea what Mia was doing. And quite honestly, she should know better than to use a very easily tappable wired line to give information. And overall, she shouldn't have peed on that guy's leg. She sort of brought it on herself.
But you let her die. It was all your fault.
It wasn't like that.
I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were.
So that's why you became a prosecutor?
My other reason for living. She goes by the name of Mia Fey.
You mean me?
You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Couronne village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visits with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it.
That makes sense.
If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices.
Accomplices?
Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Faye. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Faye.
But how did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years.
Officially, yes.
What do you mean, officially?
You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government.
Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of Kuran had great authority.
Even without her official position, Misty Faye still wielded great influence. The police had been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor.
So my mother was cooperating with you?
Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you.
She was always...
That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff.
Her staff? The one with the sword in it?
The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Faye if necessary.
So, Misty Faye was willing to protect her child, her only surviving child, in any way possible except maybe reveal herself to her daughter and say, "I'm your mother. I know you have a lot of questions, but I must warn you that somebody is trying to kill you. And I'm trying to stop that." She didn't somehow tell Maya, she didn't reveal anything, she didn't put her on her guard. That's just stupid.
Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price.
Mother...
That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne.
Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together.
We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan.
Again? Either Elise, Iris, or you could have gone to Pearl and said, "We know of your instructions from your mom, but we do have to say it is very dangerous, not just for you, but also for Maya." That could have kept her from doing it. But no! Godot wanted to play hero.
But she never showed up.
She was worried and followed me to the inner temple.
That was the thing we were most afraid of. And that's why Misty Faye had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body.
What? What do you mean?
If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of Kuran, Misty Faye's power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fey wouldn't be able to.
What? Is this true?
My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fey. Again, you could have told her. Put her on a guard. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple. Just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia. Godot. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to. Trite. I'm going to admit to almost everything except this. Huh? There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense lawyer. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself.
The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fey, and I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot.
Well, Trite. If you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of doubt that you can finish this on your own.
No, Nick. Please don't. I heard the whole thing. From my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia, and me too.
What do you mean he put his life on the line to protect Mia? Isn't he saying that he failed to protect her anyway? So, really? No! But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify.
Pretty please?
Miss Fey, your testimony, please.
This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips.
I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick.
Alright, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder?
Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness.
These red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them.
I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden.
Things break, Trite. Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Missy Fey? It looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Light shining in the dark. I don't think you could make a mistake about that.
Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure they were from Mr. Godot's mask either.
I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but just after that, you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask?
Yeah, I guess so. maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember, after all. There was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly.
Alright then, let's go on with the testimony.
That blood, was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood? I think so, probably. Just at that moment, I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice.
So that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with the murder weapon. Is that right?
Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation.
The victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that?
Struck back? How do you know that? Well, you're right. I didn't see it exactly. But I could tell by the sound of their breathing and movement. And also the smell of blood.
That must have been a lot of blood if she could smell it. Unless she has really, really good smelling senses.
You have witnessed more horror than any young lady should ever have to do in one life. So then, what did you do at that point?
Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier?
Yes, I think so. But...
They went out?
Yes. Suddenly, I couldn't see them at all.
What could it mean?
If the red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of a fight, maybe the mask was damaged. Or maybe it was knocked off. Or maybe the batteries ran out. Right?
Or maybe those little red pinhead-looking lights just stopped working.
What could have really happened then?
What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out?
Yes, that's right.
The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice.
What? So then, that scream came from the killer?
That's got to be it.
I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it.
And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh?
After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess.
Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me.
It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction.
That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct.
Remember the testimony she just gave, before the killer let out a scream. Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim.
Is that right?
She couldn't have struck back with the sword that was already stuck in her body. I guess if it was plunged in all the way, it was poking out at the front and she could have turned around suddenly and sliced him. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trite. There's only one thing Oh, wrong voice. There's only one thing I can think of. Whoops! What did I do? I clicked the wrong button. Sorry. Ugh.
I didn't know that clicking 7 would do that. What the hell? That could have been used as a weapon here. Sure, there's a mood break, but I'm gonna break the mood in a minute anyway. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff, what could she have used to strike back at the killer? Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found it this morning, brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this. And she managed to wound him as well. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. Technically, it could also be Maya's, if she was hit. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. Yes, so if Godot would kindly strip.
So you're saying the blood in this dagger belongs to the killer?
Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood will prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, Trite. Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already a bloodstain on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom.
Yes, what does it prove?
Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it. It can't be. In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, Trite. That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance.
In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness. Continue.
Wait a minute.
What's the problem?
I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya! This dagger, you said that it wounded the killer. That's right. But if Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip in them, right? Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes? That solved the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there.
Oh, that's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the inner temple,
Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes.
with the witness.
Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him.
But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes?
Did the judge just take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he wouldn't get any blood on them. That's impossible, Trite. You know how cold it gets up there late at night.
After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. Yeah, your penis would be so small you could fit it into a keyhole. So that's all you've got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this.
Ugh.
Right now, if Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. If I was allowed to actually take care of this case, I would have finished things a lot sooner. If Mia Fey were here? So come on, Trite, can you do it or not?
How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer. But can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence?
The question isn't whether I can prove it. The fact is I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition just as you want it.
That's good. A fighter till the bitter end, Trite. Since there's just one piece of evidence that could prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Trite.
So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle.
Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you've got.
There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger.
But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a bloodstain on his clothing.
There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound.
What did you say?
Hidden? This is it, my last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there wasn't a bloodstain on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound.
It's the end of the line. The final stop, Trite. Let's hear what you've got. Where's this location where you say the killer hid his wound? I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him?
Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved.
Just now, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, While I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. What was he supposed to do? Wallow in his misery like you are? You even had the nerve to follow in his footsteps as a lawyer. He was a lawyer before she died. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought.
Mr. Godot.
But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me.
You yourself?
I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit.
But you saved Maya.
Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway.
What do you mean?
Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, then there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away.
Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick?
But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother, but I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason?
No. Why?
I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia. Nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me.
You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya.
Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure.
What do you mean by that?
That night, in the darkness of the garden, when I saw her silhouette. A part of me must have known the truth.
By the way, according to this, she's not wearing the hood. Just another contradiction.
The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, though. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. The stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando.
Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me.
Thanks. Your wound! It's bleeding! Did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment.
Mr. Armando.
You did well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant,
Yes, Your Honor.
although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself.
I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk, and I willingly cooperated anyway.
Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you.
Apologize to me? For what?
For the case 6 years ago, of course.
I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover?
Not exactly, but yeah, something like that.
Even now, 6 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me.
It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other.
What do you mean?
You and my sister, you only met twice.
Huh? We only met twice? Technically it should be 3 times. When she gave him the bottle, during the trial, and when he saw her next to Doug Swallow's body.
The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met her was 6 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed.
No way. It can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were...
For those 6 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister.
It wasn't Dahlia?
I hope one day you can forgive me, Feeny.
You mean...
That's right. I lied to you for 6 months.
I'm sure the gallery is very upset or happy that we actually get to hear this love thing going on. Very good that we get to learn that. So important.
Why would you do such a thing?
Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance, she couldn't move about freely.
So that's why you...
My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst.
Prepared for the worst?
She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice.
You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you?
She already had so much to answer for that she didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her to not do it, and she agreed to give me a chance.
And that's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place?
But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 6 months passed, and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened.
That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer with you.
I think she must have noticed.
Noticed what?
My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her.
Yes, this love stuff is really very important to have, and very, very important next to the fact that Godot has this tragic hero backstory.
Even if it meant her life, or mine.
Iris.
After spending half a year by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed.
I have something to say to you too.
Yes?
You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you.
Thank you.
How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so? Phoenix, right? Yeah, I think you're right.
The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Donim. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant. Court is now adjourned.
So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended. Was justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand.
Of course justice was served.
Mia!
I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant.
But I couldn't save Armando. The man who cared so deeply for you.
You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible.
You mean, with that verdict?
I think one day you'll understand, too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense lawyer could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me.
Mia!
You've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Yeah. I'm sure we'll meet again, someday, Phoenix.
I've handled lots of cases and seen lots of things. And along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? Really? You were wondering that every case? I don't remember that ever being mentioned. I suppose today's case produced one possible answer.
Nick?
Maya.
I guess it's just like my sis said.
Your sister? Mia?
That night, when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end.
But...
Come on, cut it out with that gloomy face. Can't you see me, sis? I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you have done for us, Nick.
Maya, how can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered.
Ow!
Franziska!
Still a softie as always, Phoenix, right?
Excellent work, Bart.
Huh? Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back?
Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Franziska have actually been helping me.
Helping you?
If these two hadn't been there on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Wow. But where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold which forced him to sleep all day.
Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head.
Ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Franziska.
I don't suppose... Oh, wrong one.
There's room for me in this group hug, is there? Oh, Larry!
What's with the longer than usual face?
I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once. That's not true, right, Nick?
What? You're asking me?
Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right?
Huh? Yeah, of course.
I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I was gone for good.
No, yeah. Those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? Me?
Why are you making that face? Huh, Edgy?
Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can't say that it's lacking resemblance.
Do you really mean it? What about you, Francie? Did I draw you well, too? My beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something. So then you'll do it, like you promised? You're going to model for my next picture book, Francie's Whipslap. Woohoo! Don't get carried away. Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. The painting of Pearl was pretty darn good too, if you ask me. Huh?
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around. Yeah, she disappeared in the last 5 minutes when she channeled Mia. Pearls? Where could she have gone? Normally, she would have made a beeline for Maya.
Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Pearly!
Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you are wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that happened.
Yeah. To be honest, I can't understand it either.
Franziska. That's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears. I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can.
What do you mean by now is exactly the time?
Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best to not cry. Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya. Edgeworth, I think I'm starting to understand too.
Ow! Then tell me, Phoenix Wright. Who is Maya Fey being strong for? Pearl Fey.
The poor kid.
After all, the reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother Morgan. It's for the good of the Fae clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Faye's mother was killed, and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. I have a question. If Misty's backup plan was to channel Dahlia herself so Pearl couldn't, why didn't she tell Iris and say, I'm about to channel Dahlia. Quick, tie my arms and legs together, then I'll channel her and she can't do anything. Dahlia would have continued to be channeled, Pearl couldn't have channeled her, Maya wouldn't have gotten in trouble, things would have worked out fine. And that's exactly why Maya's putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, until she can see her smile again.
Oh hey, so this is where you all were. Wow, looks like we've got quite the bunch. Oh, what was that for, sir?
Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own.
What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary's just sort of kinda gone down by a teeny-weeny bit, but it's alright. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight.
Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward.
Detective Gumshoe? You said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean... Très bien. Where else?
I knew it.
We're doomed. Come on, let's go everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey you, crybaby. You're invited too.
Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser's shack eating potatoes.
You know, Maya's taken an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. Oh, Maya. What's wrong?
Nick, what'd I do? Pearlie, I can't find her anywhere.
Huh? I'll bet she just went back home. That's all.
I thought so too, so I called the village. Okay, you were gone for about, let's say 10 minutes. It takes 2 hours via train to get there. How the hell would the village know if she's there, or even on her way? But no one has heard from her. This has never happened before.
As I figured, she has been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya.
But none of this was her fault. What should I do?
Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But what about you? Maya and I... We'll join you guys once we find pearls.
Nick...
Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, but you... Oh!
Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead.
Don't keep us waiting, right? We won't.
But where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone?
Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to.
Hasakura Temple.
For pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started. What's this? You're all back again so soon?
Sister Bikini? I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here? Pearlie is here?
She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her?
Okay.
Pearlie's not here. Maya, the hanging scroll.
Someone cleaned it off.
It's got to be Pearls.
Mystic Maya! Pearlie! Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya... I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Miss Maya's mother...
That's why you came here?
It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearlie. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course I'm sad that my mother is gone. But, how do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya.
I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty.
Sister Bikini.
Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. After dishonoring the good name of Kurain, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die.
That's the master's talisman.
The thing that Misty kept by your heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important. It was the contents. That's...
a photo? Mother...
It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Even when the battle is over and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother too. I learned that from all of them. Well, shall we get going? Everyone's waiting. This is a day to remember, a day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today.
But I still can't...
Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training any time.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise.
I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for 3 for when you come back.
Alright, we're going to have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya. I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight.
You know, there's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but...
What is it, Nick?
Reservations for training is fine and all, but why for 3?
Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us.
Huh? I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. Huh? Huh?
It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do the special course naturally.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick?
You know, I was wondering if I can say just one little thing.
Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it.
I'm getting goosebumps too. Well then, here goes nothing.
Okay, I didn't actually yell at Godot the way I have before, but I am going to tell you now why. By the way, Maya isn't going to appear in any Phoenix Wright games again. At least not from the ones released to date. I really hate Godot. As I said before, he's a chauvinistic, sexist dickhole. He's a jerk, but he's not very likable. So, the only thing I like about him is his theme music. I know a lot of people may like him for the tragic backstory of being poisoned and all that, but I have to say he has no right to somehow gain sympathy for his backstory. I already pointed out how stupid he is for drinking something in close vicinity to someone who he knows is, you know, she had poison. He knows she had poison, he knows that she has killed before, and he just drank something. I don't know how she managed to put the poison in there, but by God! How stupid is he? The second part is, he woke up. I'm guessing he woke up around August or September. As you remember, this case took place in September. Godot was awake at that point, and he was, you know, he was awake, he was a prosecutor and everything. And he says he can't have taken his revenge on Dahlia because she was already sentenced for something. You fucking moron! You woke up in September! Let's say September. You appeared in September. She was executed a month before this case. That means she was executed in January. So that gave you 4 months. You had 4 months to find out in which penitentiary she was and go to her and do whatever the hell you wanted as revenge. You could have laughed in her face. You could have yelled at her. Heck, if the only thing you want to do was spit her in her face, go ahead, you could have done that. But no, instead you decided to just wallow in your misery. You wallowed in your misery. Oh, Dolly has been sentenced. Mia is dead. Oh, poor me, poor me. Woe is me. I mean, jeez. And then he reads the letter and he thinks, oh, this is a great way to protect Maya and I am going to be such a hero. Yeah. Instead of burning the letter,
Or if he didn't want to make Pearls think that her mother lied, he could have burned this one and written a different one, saying, I don't know, bake some cookies with Maya or something like that. But no, he read the letter, he didn't burn it, he didn't do anything to really prevent this, and nobody can tell me that he was somehow killing Elise, Misty, Dahlia, whatever you want to say that. He didn't kill her in self-defense. Sure, he was being attacked, but one, he was the one who first attacked her. Second, he knew what was gonna happen. He knew there was gonna be an attack. He put himself at the crime scene early, fully knowing that he might very well have to fight, and knew the risk that he might kill someone. That is textbook murder. That is murder. It wasn't self-defense. This guy wallows in his misery like a pig. He's rolling around in the filth of what he thinks is his sadness, his tragic fate. I'm not saying he should have woken up and been all, oh, Mia's dead, Dahlia's been sentenced, sucks, and then go on with his life. No, I don't expect that. He can very well be sad and all, but he could have at least tried to, get past it, get over it a little bit. Like, he could have gotten a different profession, not just prosecutor, but a different profession. Or he could have gone on a vacation, a medical vacation, a rehab, if you will. He could have done so much other stuff, but no, he just sank in the woe is him, and he thinks he has every right to be that, and he just doesn't. I really can't understand why people like Godot. He got like a textbook, terrible, sympathetic villain backstory, if you want to call it that. Sure, he's maybe not a villain per se. Dahlia is closer to the villain role in this game, but like I said, she can kill people, but she doesn't really do things when she really has the opportunity for it. She's disappointing. But take away that stupid backstory of his, and he's just a dislikable jerk. You can't like him. I can't like him. If you like him, sure, just don't tell me that you somehow like him because you get his story and you think he has every right to act the way he did. 'Cause he doesn't. He's like Snow. Snow from Final Fantasy XIII, who wanted to be a hero, or who constantly told himself that he was a hero, and just people died under his care. The only thing I can say about Snow and Godot, where Snow has the upper hand, is that at least Snow had some sort of purpose. I hate Snow, but if I had to choose, do I hate Godot more or do I hate Snow more? I'd say Godot is worse. I can at least say I can see a tiny speck of sympathy for Snow. But Godot? No way. That guy was created for this game. The entire game feels like it's just to explain his stupid backstory, which he brought upon himself. He shouldn't have drunk anything open in the close vicinity of Dahlia. He can't blame Wright for Mia's death, because as I said, he didn't know she was investigating anyone. And seriously, it's her fault if she was not prepared to deal with the consequences if he somehow found out she was getting close to pissing on his knee.
No. I know I said that Godot had misplaced anger, and yes, Hope from Final Fantasy XIII also has misplaced anger, but I'll say it again. At least Hope was young enough to understand his reaction, to really be like, well, okay, he's in the wrong here. He's misplacing his blame. But he's young. He's very emotional. We can sort of understand that, yes, he did wrong. He knows himself that taking revenge wouldn't actually help. But shortly before the midway point of the story, he gives up on his revenge. He gets over it, and things get better. This guy is all, woe is me, screw you, tried. And then when things break down, oh, I didn't actually mean any of this. I could have done this all, la la la. No, you just shut the fuck up, Godot. I think he is my most hated character in the Ace Attorney games I've played. I know people hate, like, Mike Meekins from 1.5, or they hate Kudo from Case 3.3. We saw him in the credits here. Some people hate Pearl. Okay, I like her. I hate Maya. Other people like Maya, but they hate Pearl. That's fine and all. But I think Godot is just worse for me. He's the worst character. Anyway, I'm going to next play Case 1.5, which was created extra for the DS release of the games. And it was created after this game, so the new characters are going to be vastly graphically improved compared to the ones from the first game. It's going to have a lot of references to the second and the third game, which is a reason why I played this first, because one, this is the original timeline, if you want to call it that, and some of the references you probably wouldn't know unless you played the games previously. And I also waited until later to play it because I personally really don't like that case. Mostly because it screws with the canonity. It contradicts itself, or it contradicts what happened in Case 1.4 and in Justice for All, especially regarding Edgeworth. It really changes things about Edgeworth, which I really hate. Because Edgeworth was a good character. Yes, he got a bit emo, as I like to call it, but he was interesting. But 1.5 takes away that interesting part and just makes him a goody-goody. It also ruins what was actually the character development for him in Justice for All. But I am going to finish that case after this. I'm going to take maybe a day of break, or maybe two. Then I'm going to play 1.5, finishing the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Then I'll take a break and start on Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. So, I'll see you in Case 1.5.